Mike O'Hearn, welcome to the podcast. How you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm loving life. Loving life. Got my new headset and I'm ready.
I know. Just everyone listening to this, we tried to do this last week, but Mike didn't have a headset, so he went out and bought like this fancy one. Look at that. That's fancy.
You made me level up, man. I'm like, now I can do all the podcasts now.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You got to keep up with the Joneses, right? Super excited to have you on, Mike. We met, was it about a year ago in Las Vegas?
We met on Tinder about 2 years ago. Tried dating. That didn't work out. Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, that was
your whole audience.
That was a different podcast.
Yeah, we met about a year ago and stuff.
Okay, so
right from the get-go.
That's right, man. The first question I have for you, because I grew up in a family of 11 kids, and you come from a big family as well. Tell us what that was like growing up with 9 siblings, right?
Yeah, 9 siblings.
9 siblings. What was that like growing up, and what lessons did you learn from that experience?
You learn to be first at dinner.
That's very important.
That's really important, man, or you don't get fed. You have to stand up, or at least in our family, it was one of those things is the parents both worked, and so we had to raise ourselves in a sense. You would assume in a big family that everybody's helping out, but everybody has their own lives.
Yeah.
Or especially in our family, they did. And so growing up, I had to grow up fast. I had to start working early, paper out at 10 and 11 years old. Started helping with, purchasing food for myself because there was 9 kids and I was already an eater.
Wow.
So, yeah, we were all athletes. So it was right from the get-go, just responsibilities. And I loved looking back. I loved it.
Yeah.
Growing up that way, I was completely lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not knowing I was doing good.
So was it a farm life for you guys, or what do you mean? Did you guys grow up on a farm, or where were you?
Oh, yeah, a farm, farm. Yeah, I thought formed life.
Oh,
yes, I was created. So Krypton was a beautiful place to grow up as a kid. Obviously,
that's perfect for you. Perfect for you.
Yeah, we grew up on we had, the eggs and the chickens and the guinea fowls and turkeys and all that kind of fun stuff. A lot of dogs. Mm-hmm. And it was a great way to grow up. I'll tell you that. I just looking at how society is today relative to the time that I grew up, man, I am so glad that I did that. And we'll get into it later, but I was just talking about mentality and mindset at such a young age. Relative to computers and what's available now. Yeah. So it was great. It was growing up. We had our jobs to do. We had to do our jobs. If the parents said be home at 9 o'clock, you're home at 9 o'clock, or that door's locked and you're sleeping in the barn.
Wow.
One of those kind of things. So
very strict.
As a kid, it was strict. It was I loved it because we're playing football in the street, we're doing our thing, and we were working from an early age.
Yeah,
and I loved it. And I got to watch, being the youngest, I got to watch all my older brothers and sisters do great things and do bad things.
Yeah,
and then learn from that approach and go, okay, this is I can do this, and this. Stay away from that, and that. So
there you go.
It was a great way to grow up, man.
Yeah, learn from their mistakes, right? What was life like with your siblings? Did they grow up with the same mentality, discipline that you had? Were they all into athletics as well?
Yeah. So, when I say that we were all doing martial arts, and the reason I started is, you're going to get your butt kicked by your older brothers and sisters, but I was getting my butt kicked from my older sisters were kicking my butt. It's okay to get your butt kicked by your older brothers, but
sure.
Your older sister start drop kicking you. You're going, okay, you got to start lifting and stuff.
Yeah.
My mom was into martial arts. My dad was a bodybuilder football player. So
wow.
We all were athletes, and we were basically bred to, live that kind of lifestyle. Yeah. So I started working out at 8 years old. By 11, I was in a gym. By 13, I competed in my first bodybuilding and powerlifting meet.
Wow, that is. Were you going up against grown men at 13, or were you other kids in your age group?
Yeah, so it was 19 and under back then.
Oh, gotcha.
So I would compete, and Yeah, my first show, I beat 20 19-year-olds.
Oh my gosh, at
And
13.
then I competed at 13, and then 2 weeks later, I competed in my first powerlifting meet. I know, don't do a bodybuilding show, then a powerlifting meet, and then
Yeah.
I did that, and I won that, and I was hooked. I was hooked.
Wow. That is crazy, man. And then did you have like your dad as your coach, your mom as your coach for these types of things, or where did your inspiration come from at that young age? Or the knowledge as well. Where did the knowledge come from
My
too?
The knowledge came from watching.
Okay.
I would watch my older brothers and sisters train. Um, Back then, it was everything was kind of a dumb question. Don't ask. That's a dumb question.
Yeah.
And I kept that approach. I would watch. I would try. I would see if it worked for me. If it didn't work for me, I'd get rid of it. And this is at 12 and 13 years old. And I was looking at magazines because I would get the hand-me-down magazines from my older brothers.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all these guys in there, like, Robbie Robinson and how he was training, and Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so I was watching them going, okay, I'm going to do these and side laterals and shoulder presses and squats. And I just watched, paid attention, and did it.
That's awesome, man. That's so amazing. How did all those activities that you did carry over into athletics? As for example, you played football, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
How did that carry
Um,
over as a bodybuilder, powerlifter? Did that help out with football, or did that kind of football take a backseat to that at some point, or did it help out?
uh, Everything helped
Yeah.
because of the fact that my approach, even though I was competing at 13, 14, and 15, I won state at 15 years old
Wow.
in powerlifting against all the teenagers. And I was a monster but I was going through puberty, and I was eating correctly for a young pubescent kid, and that was
Yeah.
the main thing.
Okay.
Um, I worry about how young kids eat today.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What
But
does that mean?
that being said, well,
What?
it's one of those things is everybody when you're a young kid and your body is functioning at 100% and you're
Yeah.
growing, I get worried about young kids thinking that they need drugs,
Oh,
and it's like
gotcha.
your body is so growing right. Nothing in the world could make you grow more than what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's funny because all the elite athletes I'm around, especially the football players, not the wrestlers as much, because the wrestlers always dieted.
Yeah.
They always want to be smaller. But the football players all ate like me: a peanut butter and jam sandwich every hour to 2 hours,
Yeah.
either whole milk or chocolate milk at that time.
Hmm.
And then I was eating tuna fish and pasta and whole eggs.
Yep.
And again, it's just through puberty, I put on over 100 pounds. By the time I was 14, I was 176. By the time I was 15 and a half, I was 272.
Wow. Really?
So, yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane.
And I also grew from 5'9" to 6'2" at that time.
Yeah.
So I just exploded. I was lifting right. I was eating enough calories, and I was doing everything correctly at that time. And so I really tapped into that growth spurt.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
so
crazy, man.
when people look at me and they go, "You're a big guy," and I'm like, "I've been like this since I was 15 years old. I'm
That's
actually 10
unbelievable.
pounds smaller."
That's
So
unbelievable, man. So you
right
weigh
now, yeah,
around 265 or something?
I'm 262 right now.
Okay.
And like I said, when I was 15 and a half, I was 272.
Yeah.
So I've
At that
trimmed off 10 pounds since 15.
at at that age, did you know where you wanted to take your career? What were you looking forward to at that point in time? Were you like, I'm going to be a bodybuilder, I'm going to be the best in the world, I'm going to be a football player? Like, what was going through your mind at that age as far as where your career you thought where you were going to go?
I wanted to be the combination of Bruce Lee and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I wanted to be a walking superhero.
Yeah.
Um, I was never impressed by bodybuilders athletically,
Hmm.
and I was truly impressed by Bruce Lee athletically
Yeah.
and his mind approach. And so I wanted be a combination of both of them, especially because I was competing in tournaments in martial arts. I was wrestling, I was doing football, I was doing track, and I was bodybuilding and powerlifting. And so it was a nonstop circle.
Yeah.
I was an American Gladiator before I knew I was an American Gladiator.
Yeah.
I was doing everything, and I loved it all, and I didn't want to give up anything. I don't think I realized until I was 17 that I knew exactly what I mean, I knew I wanted to be something of this combination.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it until I was 17 that I knew exactly that I wanted to be in California, and I wanted to be lifting, and I wanted to be like Arnold and at Gold's and doing movies and TV shows.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Can you tell us your journey into American Gladiators? Because I grew up a huge fan, dude. That was awesome. Such an awesome show, man. How did that happen? And like, what did that? Go ahead.
It was awesome. At 17, I appeared in the magazines the first time because I was winning all the teenage shows in bodybuilding. So it wasn't shortly after I got my first magazine article that I was like, okay, this is fun, magazines. And I continued to do that from 17 to about 20.
Okay.
And then I met Joe Weider.
Yep.
And Joe Weider goes, I love you. I need you in California. I'm going to bring you down and set you up. And I'm like, this guy's only done that for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world. And at that time, I was on covers of magazines, but I was still in Washington. I was a young, 20-year-old, 21 at that time.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he got me down to California. I was there about 2 weeks, and I heard about tryouts for the American Gladiators. Mm-hmm. So over at the Coliseum at USC, they had tryouts, and there's 4,000 guys showed up.
Wow.
And we banged heads, man. It started at 4,000 guys, and by Sunday, started Friday. By Sunday night was the last of the auditions and battles throughout that whole time. Everybody was going against each other. It was down to me and one other guy, and we banged each other in the heads for an hour. And at the end of that, they hired us both.
Really? Who was the other one?
Red. His name was Red. Saber.
Saber. Yeah.
Saber.
Gotcha.
It was awesome because I told him, and he didn't tell me for like 6 months later. We were jousting each other, and he stunned me. I was knocked out on my feet, and I kept swinging. And then we got done, and they were like, "You guys are just great," because we did Powerball and all these games. And then 6 months later, he goes, "I never told you this, but I was knocked out up there with you. You hit me in the head, and I was gone." I was like, "Oh, good. All right. We got each other."
That's awesome, man. That is so cool. I didn't know they had a competition for that where you guys had to battle each other. Was it elimination style, or was it kind of?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the things I loved. It was competition. I loved it. I loved it so much. I'm jumping forward quite a bit.
That's okay. That's okay.
When I got American Gladiators again, they contacted me and said, "Hey, we want you on American Gladiators." And again, we'd love you to have you on there. And I'm like, well, nope. I'll audition like everybody else and fight everybody else. If I win a spot, then I win a spot.
Wow.
So, and then I went back and I broke all the that day, beat up everybody, and won the title spot and the team captain. So I was like, all right, I earned it.
That you did earn it. I love that. Where did that mentality come from? Is that something that your parents instilled in you?
Just at the end of the day, this is about me.
Yeah.
And it's about me representing me and what I believe that I can do. I don't want to be given a TV show that's athletic based. And remember, at this time, I'm coming back and I'm going to do this, and I'm going against 20-year-olds. And at the time, it was 2008. So you got to figure that I was 39 going on to 40 years old.
Yeah.
And they called me up, and I'm like, I got to fight 22-year-old ex-football players and Olympic athletes and all this.
Yeah.
And I said, if I earn it, I'll get it. And it's just one of those things. I got to prove to myself that I can do this. And that's why I still weight lift. It's the reason I lift the way I lift. I'm never going to be the guy that goes, gosh, I'm good for 40.
Yeah.
I don't get that approach. Life doesn't measure you that way. Either you're good or you're not good.
Yeah.
I don't care what age you are. At 14, I didn't say, hey, I'm good for 14. Let me compete against 19-year-olds. And if I lose, all right, they're 19. It's just not who I am.
I love that, man. That is
So,
super cool, to be honest with you. What were some of your most memorable moments from American Gladiator? Like, for example, did someone ever get the best of you? and if so, did that bother you?
I am the only undefeated American Gladiator.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no. You know what? It wasn't so much the moments. It was about the experience, the whole experience, and going out there and growing up. Because remember, I did American Gladiators. I did a TV show called Battle Dome for years, where in that show, we got to be violent, which was fun.
Yeah.
And then we got to do American Gladiators again. And my life is about competition and competing. And it was about being able to do it and live in the moment and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And change from the 20-year-old that was so nervous. I can't lose. First of all, I'm in spandex.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. And then, but you're on TV and you're selected. There's 6 guys in the world that's American Gladiators, so that's what an honor.
Yeah.
But you can't lose. You can't lose. And then the change from that, I really enjoyed the last time I was on American Gladiators because of the fact that I went out there and I go, win, lose, or draw, man, I'm out here and I'm doing this, and this is a battle, and it's fun, and I felt like I was a gladiator still, in a sense of like early years that we had to battle every day, and it was fun to go against, for us gladiators, we had to fight 6 different kind of guys in one day, where they only had to fight one gladiator.
Oh,
so It was nice to go against all kinds of, 230-pound guy, 180-pound guy that's quick and agile.
Yeah.
So it was just, man, I've been a kid my whole life. People make things and I break them. So it's cool.
Did you see that as a stepping stone for your career at that point in time? Like, did that lift your career to a certain status that maybe it wasn't before, or in a different way than bodybuilding did?
Yeah, obviously TV is the ultimate goal, and I've been lucky. I continuously work and do guest spots and guest appearances, and I've done movies like Barbarian and Keeper of Time, and we're getting ready to do another project, so that's cool. But yeah, anytime you get one thing, it kind of elevates you a little bit, and it keeps you relevant. And it's all about keeping relevant or changing and creating a new you. So society and the kids of today kind of look at you and go, he's kind of cool. We'll follow him. Mostly today with social media, kids are the future. Those are the ones that are making whoever is influential even more so.
Gotcha. What would you go back, if you could go back and tell your 15-year-old self, some advice that now after all you've experienced? What would you tell your 15-year-old self?
When it comes to training, less is more, and live in the moment.
Cool.
It's and I notice this is something with a lot of people, is live in the moment when you're doing something. To give you an idea, I won the Natural Universe 4 times, but as soon as I won it the first time, it was one of those things like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
There was no time to just smile and go, hey, this just happened. Enjoy this a second.
Yeah.
It was on to the next. It was on to the next, on to the next. And that had to go through my whole career. I was that way. And you miss a lot of the moments, those priceless moments. And I think that something that has really showed me how to slow down are my dogs. They live in the moment. And it was my biggest, and I still struggle with it today.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I remember seeing a funny meme of like a dog owner and his dog, and their thoughts are kind of illustrated on a page, and the man's thinking about business and work and bills and the past and the future, and the dog's just thinking about how awesome it is to be there with their owner, right? Like just sitting in a beautiful park. So living in the moment for me, I think I agree with that 100%, man. So, my hat's off to you.
It's a tough thing, right?
It is really tough as humans because,
How do you do it?
How do I do it? Honestly,
do you do it?
Yeah. I'm not perfect at it. I'll be honest with you. 2 things that have helped me. One is breathing and meditation. And I grew up in a very conservative kind of religious culture where meditation was looked at as weird. But now that I've kind of discovered it and I've practiced it on a consistent basis, being able to be in the moment and breathe, and just breathe and focus on your breath
Right.
only, helps me to be present with my daughters. That help keep me grounded. And in moments where you're doing something awesome, I think so many celebrities or high level athletes sometimes get caught up in their ego, and they don't enjoy the process anymore or what they're doing. Versus they can look at this moment and be like, man, I'm blessed to be getting paid to do something that is fun that I love to do. Versus like, man, I should be getting this, I should be getting this, or I should be paid that, or whatever. Living in the past, worrying about the future. I think a lot of humans
Right.
suffer in that area. So, anyways, man,
Yeah, I agree. I think we could talk for hours just about living in the moment, because that's like, again, it's when you can do that, and you can slow down for your family or your significant others and
hmm
stuff like that. It's an incredible thing just to
yeah,
put the phone down and tune out the world and go, I got to get this job, that job, bills, this, that, and just depart from all that.
yeah,
Um, I'll tell you, man, it's the most peaceful thing, and it's, I guess, my style of meditation
hmm
is sitting on the beach with my pup, my old girl,
mm,
and just slowing down that time.
yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's it. That's something.
Um, I remember when we first met, we were talking. This is something that kind of stuck with me that I remembered about you is, people that do modeling, bodybuilding shows, they train, they cut down, they look great on stage, and then they have this sense of accomplishment. Like I did it, I can relax a little bit now. And then they go through these yo-yos, these ups and downs of like gaining 30 pounds in one day afterwards. And something I remember about you is like
Right.
you're always photo shoot ready, and that's something you've
Yeah.
always done. Is that right?
Yeah. It's. I think for you and me,
Uh-huh.
education is one thing,
Yep.
but that experience and staying tuned to what you can do with your own body is something else. Um, Being able to change our body the way we want, and by nutrients
hmm
alone, is an incredible thing. And the one thing I love to do is test myself and stay down and stay lean. And again, it's a test within myself. I don't want to be, uh, and I've done both. I've won California powerlifting. I took second at the nationals in powerlifting, so I'm
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
But then I won the universe in bodybuilding. But where's the combination of both? I would rather be 80 of both instead of 100 of one.
Gotcha.
Um, and to continue that, and then at that point, now what I've found in the last 10 years of my life is I love turning a switch and doing the impossible. Um, Being the last guy that's still guest posing and traveling the world from the 80s, from the bodybuilding world.
Yeah.
It's and looking like I do is allowing me to create something new for the kids that are coming up, and showing them that this is possible. But on top of it, I'm not giving up, and I'm not, I always tell these kids, don't be me, be better than me. But I ain't gonna quit. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna make it easy on you. So that's why I'll still go in and I'll bench 500 on incline or something like
Yeah.
that. Being a week out from a photo shoot, so I just love being able to be the combination of both. I always wanted to be a walking superhero, and that's still the goal.
Yeah, man. That's really impressive, and that actually puts it in perspective to be the last one from the '80s that's still out there doing what you're doing at the level that you're doing it. Really puts it into perspective. So that's really interesting, and it's really impressive, man. Like, because you're 40, you just turned 47,
49.
49,
No, those 49.
49. Wow. Okay.
49.
And we'll get into that, why that number is so significant, because I want to talk about your birthday tradition at some point, which we'll
Okay.
get to.
Oh
But
yeah,
before that,
done.
before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about we talked about nutrients and nutrition and always being photo shoot
Yeah.
ready, and how for example, we talked about ketosis and how that's one of your tricks is
Yep.
like to stay photo shoot ready. A lot of guys will cut out carbs to get photo shoot ready, but for you, you can find a way to kind of maintain that all year round, so you don't have to go through these huge roller coasters, right? How do you do that nutritionally? People probably want to know, are you strict keto? Are you keto for you, where you eat a bunch of carbs, but you can get away with it because you have more muscle mass? Like, maybe describe your nutrition
Right.
philosophy.
Okay. It's first of all, my belief on
hmm
nutrition is for everybody, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first and foremost.
Yeah.
Whatever. And again, I think something that I like that people talk about is doing a keto diet. It's great because it gets people on a regimen.
Yep.
And you're going to see results. Now, for me, my whole philosophy on training and nutrition is always going back to the core foundation. That means that my body needs to function correctly on how it always has functioned. So if I am dieting down like any guy, just the average Joe dieting down for a bodybuilding show, they're removing carbohydrates or they're doing low days with a moderate high day. Regardless of how you get ready for that show and you hit that show, some people think, hey, we're in great shape. So the body's functioning at 100%, correct? I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think as soon as you start eating anything, your body's going to freak out and you're going to blow up like a balloon.
Which is what most people do.
Exactly. And people just, average Joes that are just dieting down, they're dieting down to a point where they can't maintain that because they dieted so extreme.
Yep.
And they exercise so extreme. So my foundation, and this goes with everything, as much as I am a psycho in the gym, there will be times if you pay attention that I'm going into the gym maybe 3 times a week doing the moderate amount of work. Again, the gym's about doing the least amount of work possible, not the most, the least amount of work possible, but still get better. Or in my case, for a period of time, it is to maintain while my body recovers. So everybody's, 24/7. I'm a savage 24/7. I'm a beast. I train hard. It's like, all right, man, but you're not going to maintain it.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to do CrossFit every single day until you're 70. So where's the foundation work? Where do you drop back and go, oh, every pro sport has an off season.
Yep.
Where they're not pounding the body as hard as they are during the season. So yes, I'll go extreme, but I will come back and I'll be moderate, doing enough work to maintain it until the nutrition is starting to work again. So regardless, like right now, I'm actually trying to get to an actual number body weight, which means I'm going to be taking myself and taking off muscle and taking off fat and taking off everything.
Yep.
By doing this, I know that I'm going to be traumatizing my body. So when I reverse out slowly. And I'll reverse out bringing in carbs and protein and fats and bringing up the calories about 250 every 2 weeks. And I'll continuously do that over a slow period of time. So you got to think in 1 month, I've only gone up 500 calories from where I was, but I've also backed off my training somewhat. So now your body's starting to recover, it's starting to fix itself. And I always listen to the body, and everybody, if they really do listen to their body, and you can understand this, is when you hear somebody talk about what they did nutrition-wise. My body's not changing. So what I did was I added in cardio and cut back the carbs. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. You just did 2 things.
Yeah.
How about just the one thing, or just intense the cardio, the training a little bit, and then we'll add in a little bit of your cardio. And then from there, we'll maybe take away some carbs. Slowly. Everybody's wants that quick reaction where I'm cool, and I've always lived this way, where I'm cool for a delayed gratification.
Yep.
I'm okay being ready down here. I don't need to be ready tomorrow. I need to maintain right now, but it's got to move towards something where my body's functioning, and I can't force my body to. And the only reason I think I'm still here today is because of the nutrition, but I can't force it to get rid of all the fat and muscle within weeks. Yeah. I know it takes time, and I gotta listen to that. And so when it comes to carbohydrates, I play with my carbohydrates. I play with my proteins. I think most people think that I'm like one of these guys that takes in 2.2 grams of protein per lean muscle mass. Yeah. I don't. I eat about 4 ounces of protein a meal.
Okay.
Because again, I'm just trying to retain the muscle.
Yeah.
And play with the fat. And so I think when people get carried away with what the books say, and I hate that. And I got a nutrition book here, and it's a Harvard nutrition book, and there's a picture of me with a hypothetical in there.
Okay.
So it's a BMIs, and it's like I wish people would take their time, work with an expert, somebody that really knows their stuff, not just reads it in cookie cutters. But someone that's you've experimented.
Yep.
You've done every aspect of this.
Yeah.
And that's one of my beliefs. Like when in we've been in this, or I've been in this long enough. I've been dieting for 40 years.
Yeah.
I've done the eat grass and grow diet. It's one of those things that I've done it all. So I understand that what works, what doesn't work for me, and what works and what doesn't work for the millions of fans that I work with around the world. But what seems to work is getting the body to function correctly again, and then moving forward.
Yeah.
And I know that's kind of confusing maybe to the listeners. What does that mean to get your body functioning again? It means calorie intake, healthy calories that your body utilizes and works with.
Yeah.
For example, everybody thinks that I'm a genetic freak, and if you know my girl Mona Marison,
Yep. Yeah.
Miss Universe, she won Miss Universe. She was a former editor of Muscle and Fitness. Hers, she's a genetic freak. And the reason why I say that is because I train, and I've been training for 40 years, and I've dieted for 40 years.
Yeah.
If you ask me how many meals I've missed in 40 years, I would tell you easily not one.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't miss meals.
Yeah.
It's like breathing for me.
Uh-huh.
I started at a young age, and it just stayed with me. Now, Mona, on the other hand, walks around. You saw her.
Yep.
She's jacked. She looks crazy. She's 5'9", 145 pounds, and she's ripped and ready for a shoot at any day. And this girl, when we get meals at restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
they come out and hand her the chicken and salad, and then hand me the big double burger with fries. And then we're like, yeah, I wish. And then we switch. So we're showing this, and this is not also another girl. This girl doesn't do cardio. So her metabolism is always working at 100% because she's functioning off the way she's programmed it.
Yep.
And meaning that she's worked up to a level where her body functions with, 250 grams of carbohydrates. She can take in another 200 grams of protein and a good amount of fat and maintain that physique.
Yeah.
Where I love to experiment and I love to go up and down.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody, if you're trying to be like somebody, we want to get to that level. We want to get to some of my football players that eat donuts all day long and they have abs.
Yeah.
Because their bodies function at 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people, this, that they don't function at 100% because they don't eat all day, then they have a big dinner.
Yep.
Or they have that huge lunch and then they breakfast is coffee and a fat burner. I don't know. But but they don't realize that they're destroying their body over years, and then they go, okay, now in 2 months I want it fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, we got some work to do.
I love what you said. I think it's having the long game in mind. And a lot of people want the instant gratification versus you're methodical. You got the long game in mind and realize that, hey, this might take a year to get to exactly where I want, but I just tweak it a little bit at a time instead of traumatize my body, shock it, deprive it, and then binge eat for the next 3 months because it was too hard, and then you try it again because you want to look good. I think most Americans are stuck in that phase, and it's hard because then they think, oh, well, okay, what does Mike O'Hearn eat? What does Drew Manning eat? I'm going to eat how they eat, and then I'll look like them. We wish it was that easy.
And they do that.
They do. They're like, oh, Mike O'Hearn eats that? I'm going to eat that too. I want to look like that. But oh, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but it was I was getting done with stuff. Then I was forcing my body to speed up, and by doing that, I do something at night. And it also helps me sleep and get a great amount of sleep, and also gets me up in the morning for a great workout. Is I'll do fruit at bedtime.
Yep.
And now I'm a big guy, like you saw.
Yeah.
I'm usually walking around 270 pounds, 280.
Yeah.
Even though I look like a model, I'm 280. So I'm taking in a good 3 pounds of fruit a night. And so all the kids are watching this going, oh, is that the trick? Wait a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Did you not hear anything I said in the last year? You're just seeing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
They just watch us and then they do it.
And that's the thing is that my whole goal is to get people, like, empower them to become their own self-experimentations. Like, experiment on your body to find what works best for you, right? Just like the difference of, like, between you and Mona, what you were saying is, like, that works for her, that's not going to work for your average person that's trying to lose weight, right? So find what works best for you, but you got to experiment. You got to be open to doing experiments with your body. And so I think you're a great example of that, Mike, and I really do appreciate that. I recently saw on social media you did a 72-hour fast, which most guys your size would freak out about. You know, you're going to lose your muscle mass. Tell us when and why you started to get into fasting, extended fast.
All right. All right. Let's let them understand this first.
Okay.
You know what memory muscle is?
Yes. Muscle memory or memory muscle? Same thing?
Yeah,
okay.
Same thing.
Okay, gotcha. Yes.
Muscle memory.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, correct?
Yep.
And we'll explain this to the listeners. It's muscle that you have, and then you just burn it off. Mm-hmm. You burn it off by dieting or overtraining and stuff.
Yep.
How fast does that come back?
If you have muscle memory, faster. I would say faster than someone that doesn't have it.
Yeah. So when people freak out, which a majority of people see that and they go, "Wait a minute, is this the way to get buffed?" First of all, the whole idea of getting buffed and fasting in 72 hours, I don't know how they came up with that. But
okay.
The reason is I can take off and drop down to 240 pounds. And then just like we've talked about, I can get right back up to 270, 280.
Yeah.
I can put that all right back on. That's not a problem. But I've experimented, and I love that you said that word, experiment.
Yep.
The reason why I do the 72-hour fast is a little different than you're going to think. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see how physically strong I can be and also completely change the body. Mm-hmm. After 72 hours. And so I do train through it. I do cardio through it. I train. I don't change anything because then I'm not testing myself.
Yeah.
I want to test myself. So I continue the same thing I was doing, but then I just go without food and just water for that 72 hours. And I still lift and I still compete against guys when we train.
Wow.
But again, it's mental. I just love the idea of going, this is 72 hours, no belts, no wraps, no food. These guys are 22 years old, getting ready to go into pro football, and I'm beating them without food. And I love that just because I go, man, I start eating again. You guys, I'm going to crush you. So that's why I do it. And then the second part is when I diet down or when I get ready for something, I did bodybuilding shows, and I won those shows. And it looked like, hey, Mike O'Hearn in shape. Hey, here's Mike O'Hearn powerlifting. Here's Mike O'Hearn doing a romance book. Here's Mike O'Hearn on Gladiators.
Yeah.
It's still Mike O'Hearn.
Yeah.
What I've noticed in the last 2 years by fasting, I'll get messages from Phil Heath and Jay Cutler, and I'll get messages from other people that Jay Cutler writes to and goes, what did he do? Now it's not Mike O'Hearn. Now it's a completely different person looking completely different. Mm-hmm. Just because it gets rid of that much more fat within inside and everything, and it changes the shape of the body, and it just takes you to a level you can't get to. Now, I'm not recommending to do it like I do it. Yeah. I'm an extremist, but I love the idea that I can change my body so much that it's a completely different body for me. Anybody, listen, I did this, again, this is going to be a mental thing.
Yeah.
I purposely fasted and dieted through Christmas and New Year's as everybody else in the world is eating and going crazy.
Yeah.
I said, and I put this online, I said, listen, I'm going to be on New Year's morning, I'm going to wake up the best I've ever been in my entire life. I'm going to look better than when I won the universe, and I'm going to look different.
Wow.
And I will be able to crush the younger me that won the universe on New Year's. And I did it.
That was
and
a 7-day fast?
It was one of those things that it was like, it was a 3-day fast with one meal and then a 3-day fast.
Wow.
I mean, with 1 day of eating and then back into 3 days.
3 on.
And I looked, 3 on.
Or 3 off,
actually.
3 off, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. And how was it?
It was fun for me. It was tough.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was tough.
Yeah.
But I did it, and the result was I've never looked like that in my life, even when I won the universe the 4th time. And it was cool. And it was also cool that I was going against the norm, and I was going against the entire world
Yep.
in a sense, because everybody's eating on Christmas and New Year's. And I loved being the outcast about the one guy that's doing it in extreme on the other side. And then New Year's, everybody wakes up, and I'm sitting there going, I told you should have joined me. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And so it was just one of those things. And I find those kind of things, and I find something that means more to me than a trophy now.
Yeah.
That I test myself and I test my body.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I'm a huge fan of extended fasting. I do it for health purposes. There's a lot of anti-aging, longevity, better digestion. I feel like it's the best cleanse I've ever done versus like, stuff that you take that makes you go to the bathroom. This is a totally different type of cleanse for your body, and I love that you're going against the norm because most bodybuilders or guys your size would be like, dude, that's crazy. Now you got to start all over, but you're maintaining or even way above other people when you're fasting and you're still working out at that level you are. I haven't tried that yet. That might be my next test, is to work out, but being safe about it, of course, not going crazy. You got to be safe about it.
Everything we're talking about, put a disclaimer. Everything that I'm doing, I've done it over time, and be safe about it and have a good support group. It's not easy. Mostly coming off that the 7 days, it was tough, but it was so worth it mentally to know what I could do mentally and that fight.
Yeah.
So
cool, man. Well, we're running. Go ahead.
We're running late.
No. I'm good on time. I'm good on time. I just want to be respectful of you.
Oh no, man. Let's keep going. Because I did want to say that, something I said earlier, and maybe the listeners caught it, is when I was a young kid, I watched, I learned, I applied. And I learned that from Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. Take what is useful, discard what is doesn't work for you, and then add what is uniquely your own. And I believe in that. And I know that people want to keep asking questions, and they keep asking and keep asking. And the problem is, a year later, they've got 100 different reasons, this, that, and the other thing. Experiment on yourself. And I said that to everybody. Mostly with social media now everybody's an expert.
Yeah.
So it's even getting worse out there instead of better, which is disappointing. That if you stay with one person, try things, listen to your body, and keeping the long game in focus. If you're going to the gym twice a day and you're barely losing weight, you're going to assume that you got to go to the gym 3 times a day. No, there's something going on there. We got to figure it out, because you can't maintain that. And everything I do, I can maintain. As hard as an extreme as I sound, I can maintain what I'm doing. I eat correctly. I make sure the body's functioning correctly. Again, regardless of how hard I diet, I get it back working at 100%. Not to Mona's level, but back to 100% for me.
For you, yeah.
And then the training is smart, hard enough to where I can continue to get better, but not crazy.
Yeah.
So just for everybody that's listening, man.
Thank you. I promised I would ask you about this, and this is something that's so impressive to me. I think, you started when you were 17, maybe it was when you were 15. You squatted on your birthday 315 pounds for reps for the number of years you were. So tell us how that story came about and how you've kept that up over the years.
I saw a picture, I think, of Hercules when I was a kid.
Okay.
And this is where people are going to get confused, because they think, hey, he does birthday squats with 315 for his age. Yeah. And I started when I was 17, and I did 17 reps at 315. Mm-hmm. And then I did it every year after that. On my birthday, go to the gym, just squat 18, and then 19. Now, most people would go, wow, that's cool. That's pretty, the hard. But see, the one thing I understood is at 20, my training partner, at 21, my training partner was Tom Plaz, and I did 54 reps with 315.
Okay.
So people think me doing 47 or 48 is cool for the age. It wasn't about the age. It was about doing something at a young age that's moderate, and do it every year. Not train for it, That's the one thing that like some of my football players started training for it. I want you to be able, your workout should be able to translate to what I want.
Gotcha.
So I can explode. I can still do gladiators, and we're coming back, by the way, American Gladiator. So you'll see Titan back on the air. But that being said, I saw Hercules, and he was a young child, and he had a calf on his shoulders. And then there was photos of him as he grew as a man. And by the time he became a huge man and monster, he had the bull on his shoulders, and they both kept growing together. And that's where the concept of the birthday squats. So regardless of my age, regardless of 315, and it's going to get harder as I get older, and I'm going to have to continue to do more reps. But the point is to push myself and know that that's my body being used to that, and continue that blunt force trauma of being able to do that old man strength. And so when I'm 50, this year, I'll be doing it for 50 reps.
Wow. What's your goal with it? Do you see yourself doing this to like 70, 80? Like, do you think you like realistically? I don't know where you're at, but
realistically, we got to assume that I'm 49. I'm still guest posing and doing shoots and crushing 20-year-olds. So I'm going to go out with my boots on.
Gotcha.
I mean, this is the way I live. This is the way I love. I was talking about something this morning. We have a big crew, the Titan crew. It's worldwide, but we have people that always come in and train with me. And then we get guys that, life happens and they miss workouts because, you can miss a workout. You're a good looking guy. You got a good build, you're 260, 270, these guys, and they take time off. I don't, and I never really worked out, even though I competed, it didn't matter in a sense. I compete because that's something I could do with what I'm doing. That's my meditation, the battle, the mental battle. And I don't know if I train at 4 a.m. I always have.
Wow.
Since I was a kid. I would do my paper route, then I would work out, then I would go to school.
Wow.
And I stayed to that. But I came up with the concept, is there a time in the day that I can train that nothing in life will get in my way?
Yeah.
And I'll never miss a workout.
Wow.
It's 4 a.m. And I've never missed a workout, and I don't miss meals. And it's just one of those things that I love the mental battle. And it's one of those, I just love to test myself every day, because after I test myself mentally, which is physically in the gym, and how far I can push myself, the rest of the day is easy.
Yeah, that's a good
point.
No
matter what happens. And the side effects of doing this, healthy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's such a great mentality, and it's super inspiring, Mike. It really is, and
Thanks,
very
man.
motivational, not just for me, but for everyone listening to this, to really see someone like you that walks their walk. You know what I'm saying? And you put your money where your mouth is, and you actually do it. And I think it's rare in our society to see someone that just shows up every day and is consistent. And I think that's very inspiring and motivational. So
thank you.
Respect to you, Mike, and I appreciate everything you do. What does, really quick, since you're okay with going a little bit longer, I had another question, and that's, what does your recovery look like? Like, you work hard. Do you recover hard? If so, what are some of your, techniques or hacks that you use to recover if you're training so much?
Recovery is key.
Okay.
You can only train as well as you recover.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that I would have told my young self about this. And I love that these kids are so aggressive, and with social media, everybody's a savage every day. But the one thing is, and you probably know this, with everybody you've worked with and talked to, if you back people off of their training, do they get better? I've noticed they have.
Yeah. As far as recovery, yep, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So everybody I work with, the first thing I do is say, we line out a nice nutrition, something healthy for them, and not something that, because they're 6'1", 180 pounds, it needs to be 3,000 calories.
Yeah.
I go off of where they are.
Yeah.
I was eating 1 meal a day. Okay, that's what we're going to work with.
Okay.
All right, so what we'll get in is 3 small meals, because we go here, it's too much.
Yeah.
So we get nutrition going, we get their body going, and I say, now, you're going in the gym? Yeah, I'm an animal. Weightlifting is easy. I can do it. I get that. Go to 70%.
Yeah.
Leave the gym with a little bit in your tank, like you could have done more.
Yeah.
And how fast their body starts to recover, and they lose that water and that overtraining look and the fatigue. So for me, I train at 4 a.m, and then after I get done with my training, I get my meal in. I'll get an hour nap in after that. That helps with the recovery, and then I get a good 7 hours of sleep a night. And besides that, it's just constantly making sure the nutrition is on point and I'm feeling recovered, and then just a stress-free life.
Yeah.
It really comes down to that. And I'm more stress-free at this stage of my life than I've ever been. So the tricks of the trade is make sure the nutrition, I can change somebody with nutrition alone without working out.
Yep.
I can change nobody that works out with bad nutrition. Can't do it. Yeah. And on top of that, I believe you're actually damaging your body.
Yeah.
You're actually getting up and you're going in and you're tearing down fibers and muscles in your body and your just mental ability. And then you go and you don't nutrients and feed it and recover, and then you go back and do it again. So it's just one thing that I did was with 2 guys that were the exact same. Within 2 months, they both needed to be ready for something. They're best friends. They were both 6'2". They were both 250. One guy was running 3 miles a day to 6 miles a week, 3 miles a day to 6 miles a day, eating 3 meals of chicken and vegetables.
Wow.
The other guy was having wine and pasta, a good Italian guy, wasn't working out, nothing.
Yeah.
And they come to me and they go, how fast can you get us into shape? And I said, well, with the one guy, the Italian guy that was eating pasta and not working out, I can get you in shape in no time. For the guy that was running, I said, this is going to take us some time. And he's like, what? And I think this is society. Society thinks, wait a minute, the guy that was running and the guy that was eating chicken and vegetables should be able to get in shape fast. Incorrect. The one guy's body was used to eating carbohydrates and not even working it off, where the other guy was traumatizing his body by running, bad nutrition, and now his body has plateaued at a place where he can't eat more than 1,000 and he has to stay with 6 miles a day.
Yeah.
So look at the contrast. And I think society's that way. Society thinks, and again, I go back to this, there's a right way to eat and a healthy way to eat. Yeah. Those are still different.
Yep.
Those are still different. And people still need to learn that. So, and you're doing a good job teaching people.
I'm doing my best.
Heads
Mike. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, man.
So, yeah. I love it, man. Thanks for taking time today.
Yeah, man. No, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. I've been meaning to have you on for quite a while. We've run into each other at a few shows, and I appreciate you being persistent with me. Like, Drew, man, you told me you were going to get me on. We're going to make it happen. So
I didn't mind being the second best looking guy on this podcast today.
You're awesome, man. I would love to come out there
buddy.
At some point, train with you at some point. I think that would be really fun. And I will join you on your next 72-hour fast. I know you just did one, but I'll join you on that one, I promise.
Oh, and you were up at Bedros's
yes,
a couple weeks ago,
yeah, Bedros, yeah. Good guy.
Love him. Oh my gosh, love that man.
Yeah.
So yes, we got. Just so all your listeners are hearing this, you're going to come up and you're going to train with me.
Okay, and we'll video it for everyone to watch. So it'll be
exactly.
It'll be funny. It'll be funny to watch. So. Okay, Mike. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Really quick, where can people find you? What's your website or social media you want to send people to?
Everything is Mike O'Hearn.
Yep.
MikeOhearn. Instagram, Facebook, email, all of it.
Okay. And then last question.
Website. Yeah.
Yep. And last question. Are you out of your 9 siblings, are you the strongest out of them? And can you beat up all your older brothers now?
Now I can, but I'll tell you, my sister won Miss Seattle. My other sister won the powerlifting in Seattle. My brothers both won Mr. Washington in powerlifting. They were savages.
Wow.
Which I'm grateful to have because, it was one of those things growing up with savages like that. I had to take them all down sooner or later.
I love it. The baby of the family taking over. I bet nobody messed with the O'Hearn family growing up.
No, they didn't. No. You walked on the other blocks.
Exactly. That's awesome, Mike. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I really appreciate all you do for a lot of people. So keep up the good work.